Okay, we're back in. Once again, it's been a long time since I did one of these. I, this morning, uploaded the previous +1 video. The previous video is just a quick update about doing Too Good To Go at Nissa, which I think I've now eaten everything that I got in that Too Good To Go. So, yeah, I think so. So anyway, today I'm going to do two things. No, there's the one thing. Specifically, there's the one thing that I haven't done. So today I'm going to do two things. One of them is because I got something from the Too Good To Go. So I decided I wanted to use it in a particular way. So, first things first. I know there are many songs that I could be singing, but I can never remember which ones they are in the moment. Maybe Staying Alive. I think Staying Alive is one of them. The problem is, of course, that I normally sing tenor, and as we know, tenors are incapable of singing to the rhythm and will always go too fast. So that's no good. Oh, and I've left my moisturiser upstairs. Never mind. I'm going to ruin my hands anyway because today we're making bread. Bread. Right. Oh, a mess. It's fine. I'm not out of shower. This is my pajamas. Why am I speaking the other way? Right. Yes. So the thing that I got from Nissa is what was an overly green banana and is now an overly brown banana. So, first step, take that off. So, I've got yeast, we know this, and I've still got flour, we know this as well. And I could have made pizza, but I need to make lasagna, and that's the other thing that we're going to make today. We're going to make a lentil lasagna. That's also going to get weird and wrong, but that's fine. Now, normally, to make a banana bread, you do it as a quick bread, which means that you're using your baking powder and that kind of thing. Is basically a cake, much more than it is a bread. However, I'm not going to buy baking powder, mostly because I've still got a massive block of baking powder in there, and I always never use enough baking powder, and I always end up having to throw like half a tub of baking powder away once it starts like clumping together and all that kind of thing and stops being particularly useful. So instead, I'm going to try a thing, and it's not a thing that I've seen anywhere online, which is actual banana bread. We're going to make yeasted bread and chuck a banana in there. Now, I'm only putting one banana in there because I only have one banana. We're going to see what that does. You never know. It might be good. It probably won't. But we don't know until we try it. So. First things first. Can I get this? So, the thing with bread, you need to have your quantities pretty right, especially if we're doing yeasted and that kind of thing. And the thing as well is, I am not using bread flour. For bread, you need good gluten development, so we're going to be doing a few tricks to getting that right. But importantly, I'm using a plain white flour recipe, because hopefully that will be giving me the right amount of water. Now, of course, what it doesn't have in that is... what does it not have in that? Yeah, what it doesn't have in that is it hasn't factored in a banana. So, I'm going to have to assume that a banana counts as water, and we'll see how it goes from there. So, first things first, what I'm going to do, so what we need is 290 millilitres of warm water, it says, to 500 grams of flour. So we'll stick with that. I've got over 500 grams of flour, so that should be fine. Now you may be thinking, oh, look at that, he's opened it like a monkey does. No, a monkey doesn't open it like that. A monkey just eats the bloody banana. Now yes, this probably should have been browner, but I can't be asked, so I'm not going. Is there something I can do with the peel? Maybe there's something I can do with the peel. Maybe there was like a whole thing I should be doing with the peel. I'm not going to. Whoops. Oh, what? My dad's been making fusilli. I love me a fusilli. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, let's break this up into here. Mash it down, like so, and then fill it up. Okay, so I don't want it to go up to 290. I need it to, okay, no, because I need this to be 3 parts of my 4 parts so that I can get it up to warm temperature. So let's try and do some quick maths. So if it's 280, I mean, obviously I'm not measuring it carefully in this, but fuck it. If it's 280, that is 4 times 7, which means that I need 210 in here. Smidge more, but once again, we're not getting that right anyway. That'll do. Okay, now comes the stupid bit. Not washing the hands. Washing the hands is always the clever bit. I mean, yes, wiping on this tea towel is always the stupid bit. Yes, we know this. But here's the stupid bit. Gonna make good on that promise to make it liquid. So, actually no, I'm gonna assume that we need a little bit more. No, I'm not. Let's see what it looks like before, what the context actually ends up being. So. Yeah, that'll be fine. Doesn't smell bad. We're all good. Okay. Clearly a bad idea. Now the annoying thing with doing this is that the other day I bought sugar and milk. Actually, milk's not a problem because I'm going to use that anyway. But the other day I bought sugar on the assumption that I would need sugar for this. But thinking about it, I probably shouldn't use sugar for this. So I'm going to need to do something with the sugar. Otherwise that will be a waste of 60p or whatever it was. And you know, I need 60p. Especially the amount I spent on those lentils. That is banana in, and also still has big lumps of banana in there. Tastes like banana. No. Okay. Oh yeah. That's now what I want it to be. It's also now a bit warm. So that'll get interesting. How much have we ended up with? Yeah, that's about right. That's like this has actually warmed up a little bit. So, not that much. It's fine. Now, there's a thought here that we should be adding sugar. In fact, so like a normal banana loaf recipe would use a lot less flour and like at least 2 more bananas. Whereas I'm not going to do that. And once again, as I said earlier, I'm now remembering because I'm good at this. Let's explain this while I'm doing stuff. Okay. So, need to get me that big old bowl out again. You should always sift your flour. I'm not going to, but you should. This is, you know, for anybody coming here for good advice, sift your flour. Now, one of the things I'm supposed to do here, normally at this point in the recipe, would be to, actually, let's get that up on here. So yeah, one of the things that we're going to need to do here, or that normally you would need to do, yeah, one of the things that normally you would need to do here is to add your salt, well, add yeast to that once we've got that in there, and add salt to this. But, as I said, we're using plain flour, and plain flour is the wrong thing to use. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and auto-lease this. And what that means is that we mix together the flour and the water, but not the salt and the yeast yet. So we'll leave it for, call it about half an hour. It's between 20 and 60 minutes, but yeah, whatever. And that apparently is going to encourage gluten development and all that kind of thing, which is going to be extra necessary when we're just using plain white flour, because it has less protein, it has less to work with the gluten in the first place. And obviously, I'm going to be making a mess of things with the banana anyway. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, and then we'll basically just do kind of like we do with the pizza. Well, the version of the pizza you didn't see, which was the just let it rise for a couple of hours so it doubles in size. And then yeah, we'll see what happens. There's some more banana water. It's just what you've always wanted. And apparently the trick to this is to just mix this together until you don't have any flour in there anymore. We're not. Oh, that is quite warm. Yeah, we're not here to turn it into a proper dough. We're not looking to actually knead it or get any sort of development happening or anything like that. We're just trying to hydrate it. So we'll see how this goes. Now, I'm not sure how you make that happen without effectively kneading it, but it's possible. I'm going to need a lot more water because I used a banana as a big chunk of my water, and I'm guessing bananas are not 100% water, because otherwise you would notice them being water. But let's see what happens so far. Now, supposedly, the reason that auto-leasing became a thing is because of stand mixers, because stand mixers were mixing everything together too quickly. So although, you know, all stretching the gluten development was happening, it wasn't happening quite right, and the development wasn't quite happening the way it was meant to be happening. So they had to come up with this extra stage of letting the protein and the sugars and everything break down before the yeast gets to it. Which suggests that if we are doing this by hand, which, as you may or may not have noticed, we are, then we wouldn't need to do that. I feel like this is getting too dry. I am going to make an executive decision on this and do a bit more water. I mean, yes, this is still sticking to my hands, but okay. Let's really get it dry before I make that executive decision. Come on. And you know what, I can add more moisture later. Although the point of this is to get moisture into the flour. Yeah, it's starting to tear itself apart. So, okay, yeah. Executive decision made. Let's get some more damp in there. See what happens. I mean, what I should have done was checked what the actual percentage of water in a banana was. And I suppose the sugar in the banana and everything like that is also going to be, and the fibre, they're going to be sucking up some water as well.
That's probably now too much. But never mind. We've done it now. If needs be, we can just go the other way and add more flour later. The point is, we definitely do not have any flour in there at the moment. And actually we want it to be pretty wet because we're going to have to incorporate our salt and yeast later. And that's not going to work. And also, I'm guessing that at no point does any recipe that wants auto-easing to happen suggest that you use the kind of instant dry yeast that I'm going to be using. So this is a learning experience for everybody involved. Come on. There was still some flour hidden inside the nooks and the crannies, and actually that's just as well because it's helping it dry out. I mean, I'll say there's a certain amount of damp that we want to have in there, but there's also a certain amount of dry that we want. We want a good balance. This is going to be great for sorting out the sound later. Now, so yeah, back to the whole one banana thing. Yeah, leave that. What is it? Right, that says 120, so do not take that out before 10 to... Wait, wait. Do not take that out before 22. Ideally, leave it till 10 to. Why are we only using the one banana? So, I have an ex-girlfriend. Had an ex-girlfriend. Be nice. She's still an ex-girlfriend. Who used to really like banana bread. And the reason that she really liked banana bread was that, was that it was moorishly delicious. No, wait, moorishly boring. That's the one we're after. Moorishly boring. Like there was nothing fun about it, but you wanted more of it. So I figure the last thing that you want is extra flavour in it. You want to try and capitalise on that boringness. And especially if you're making it big and airy, then with a bit of luck, that means that you'll be able to maximise the hint of flavour. Well, I don't know, we'll find out. This will be a learning experience for everybody. Okay, now on to our lentils, because obviously those are things that go together, our banana bread and lentils. Oh, lentil lasagna, to be precise. So, yeah, lentil lasagna. Actually, let's bring up the lasagna recipe I used last time. Okay, yeah, that's the one I had last time. Now, I am missing ingredients as ever, but this time different ingredients. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So instead of using meat, we're using lentils. Instead of using canned tomatoes, we're using more puree. And this time we're actually going to try and make a bechamel, except that it will be a flavourless bechamel, because I still don't have any cloves. So, I'll wipe this down. But I don't think I'm actually doing anything on here, but I still feel like wiping it down is a good idea. Clean as we go. Okay, we're starting with our mirepoix. So, nasty looking carrot, so-so looking onion, and we still have celery from last time, or do we? I haven't checked in a few days. Let's cover that, we're not animals. And our celery is probably fine. Why not? I like how only the middle ones have leaves. It doesn't much I like it, it's interesting. Kind of.
need these later. Oh, actually, I might need them now. Yeah, I'll use them now. That'll learn me. Okay. And the reason I got 3 out when I said I needed a couple was because I'm going to eat one of them and see if it's still good. Yeah, it's probably fine. I mean, that is definitely a dirty carrot. Can't deny the dirt of that carrot. And that's getting peeled to script. As ever, really should be using all these bits for stock, but can't be asked to learn how to make a stock. I mean, making a stock is not that complicated. What I can't be asked to do is make a stock, because that's many, many, many hours on the stove, which I realise I already spend many hours, but there's many more hours. So, if you're running a restaurant, absolutely do that. But then, if you're running a restaurant, don't come to me for cooking advice. What are you doing? Or was I supposed to cut it down the middle and then go, no, that still doesn't work? Really not sure. Well, that's what we're doing. Let's try and get this all onto one board because I'm lazy. Now this time round, they only had the red chilies, which, as I say, are more expensive than the mixed chilies, but also better. So, supposedly, a Cajun mirepoix, I think, it doesn't use carrot and instead uses peppers. Now, I'm pretty sure they mean bell peppers, but I'm going to use chili peppers instead because flavour. Now, the whole point of a mirepoix is actually you're getting the good flavour out of things that aren't that great, but together and as a base work really well. But still, I am going to over egg this, by which I mean not use any eggs. And I couldn't find the separate garlics, so I had to get the pre-packaged garlic, which is more expensive, but fine. They call it chef's garlic, so maybe it's better. It's clearly not. But anyway. And there's a little one in the middle there. No, there's not. There's a massive one in the middle there. Okay. Oh, there's one. There's a tiny bastard there. Or is that part of a huge bastard? No, it's part of a huge bastard. Screw it. Let's go for this one. I was trying to use smaller cloves, but I bought a large garlic, therefore apparently it just has large cloves. What are you going to do when the cloves come for you? Yeah, this is all stuck to my fingers. Yeah. I don't like it. Where has my big bum pan gone? I'm pretty sure this is a bigger pan than I had used previously. There's a reason for that. It's because we're going to have to use more lentils. This is all going to get weird because we're not doing the whole meat part of it, so it gets confusing. Now, you know what we couldn't do last time I made lentils? Oil! Get them seeds in there. That's nutrition, that is. It's good enough to make a plant. It's good enough to make a person. Clean that's open. Right, so, yeah, what we've got is a whole 500 grams of red split end lentils. You'll remember I recommended that for the small bags, which 500 grams counts as a small bag, you do not use, the Asian community ones. You just use the normal store brand ones, but we're in hoarding mode and there are no store brand ones. There's also none of the large packs of the Asian community ones. So this is what we're going to have to do. So let's see, what does this say? This says, soak in enough water to cover for at least 10 minutes, replace with fresh water, bring it to the boil and boil for at least 10 minutes, simmer for 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. Okay, I'm doing some of that. Okay, this says 200 grams. How much water? Don't tell me it's not got any water in it. You know it needs water. Is this doing it without water? Oh, soaking enough water to cover. Okay. So I think I'm about to do something very dangerous, potentially. Maybe. There we go. 1 litre of water. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to use 1 litre of water yet. I'm going to leave that for later. Because I'm pretty sure I just read a recipe for soup. And of course, the thing about red lentils is they always turn into soup anyway. So we've got to be mindful of that. I'm going to say this is softening. Why not? It's certainly aromatic, if you will. So what I'm going to do, beef stock. Now yes, I realise this makes it non-veggie, but I have beef stock, so what am I going to do? I know where I'm going to get the rest of that litre from. Oh, actually that's for 300, oh, fine. We'll work this out. Let's do this. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's what I'm going to do. This. Why did you pre-reseal? There you go. Oh yeah, that's instant mush. It's fine. It's fine. So how long is this supposed to cook for? Oh, 5 to 10 minutes. So, I mean, the recipe says cook it down for like 2 hours, but that is meant to have meat in it, not red split lentil. This is going to turn into a completely indistinct mush. We'll see what it looks like after half an hour, then after an hour, that kind of thing. Try and work out what's going on with it. It's very hot. Stop it. Yeah, I do not have a standard 400 grams of tomato juice, or just tomato, sorry. So let's use some of this puree that we've still got. Bunch of that's gone in there. I've not told you about the muesli I made the other day. So, yeah. Did that need to be boiling? Probably not. Yeah, so the other day, I'm using the last of my muesli, and I've run out of mango juice, so I can't do that anymore. I'm like, I know, I'll have it dry. But it turns out that dry is not good, at least not with that muesli. I remember as a child dry being delicious, but apparently not. So instead, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a tomato juice out of out of tomato puree and water. So I did that, and I put it in, and it was disgusting. And I got through all the bits with raisins and then just threw the rest out because did not have time for that. So that was nice. Also, I've forgotten to put salt in this. So let's put salt in this. Because previously when we made lasagna, we didn't need salt because we were making it entirely out of bacon, so it was already overly salty. But this is lentils. So lentils could do with some salt. Oh, I'm supposed to do the whole boil it for 10 minutes first thing, aren't I? Okay, I can do that. We can do that. Bit of that, leave it to boil off. Okay. Now that I've got a whole mess going on here, so our dough should have auto-leased, which means time for a bit of salt. Mush that down. There we go. I'd say this is almost certainly not intended to have been used for auto-lease dough, but hopefully it won't make a difference. Oh, this is what wouldn't open. So yeah, supposedly this can just go straight into your mix and you don't have to do anything fun with it. We'll see how true that is. We will learn. So I believe it's at this stage I do want to be kneading it properly. So, assuming that takes about 10 minutes, then that'll be good for me to go over and stop those lentils boiling. I know there's going to be a layer of yeast and salt in here somewhere. There's no way it's incorporated that easily. Where are you, you sneaky bastards? Oh, there we go, there you go, there it's pouring out. That's where the sneaky bastards were. Come on. Do this. Oh yeah, it's all there. Hasn't incorporated at all. All still there. Come on. Got important work to do. That doesn't work in the slightest. I have no idea how this is meant to work. I mean, I'm still going to give it a go. Should I have mixed it with some water first? I mean, the sensible answer is yes. I absolutely should have. Did I? Clearly not. Will I? No, I'm in too deep now. Can't add extra yeast. That would get crazy. I mean, there's still chunks of yeast on there. That's definitely not actually getting itself in there in the slightest. Remember, kids, you have to do exercise once a day while you are social distancing. And this totally counts as exercise. I'm going to assume that any odd coloured bits are actually chunks of banana. That is going to make my life easier. I also read a thing that apparently auto-lease makes it much easier to over-knead your dough. So that's a problem. Because I am kneading the shit out of this. Come on. For anybody who actually knows how to knead dough, do let me know. Because, good money, this is not it. But, I mean, it's certainly doughy. There's not a lot of, obviously, yeast still going on there. Oh, there's some around here though. Come on, get yourselves in. Get with the game plan. Be a team player. It's
stay home and wash your hands. Come on.
Actually, on that note, you may have noticed, if you've been following my spreadsheet, that I'm still going to level 39. The plan at the moment is I go to level 39 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That allows me to have a decent internet connection. I've got a terrible internet connection here. So yesterday I uploaded a 6-minute video. And I think that took 3 or 4 hours. So, not great. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I have to run a live stream. I could do it badly here, or I can go into the office and do it. The great thing about doing it in the office has a grand total of 3 people in it when I am there. One of us goes into the cafe, one of us goes into the hot desking area, and one of us takes a meeting room all to himself. That's what I do. There are many meeting rooms. There is room for more people. I drive in my mostly electric car, and actually it's been getting warm, so I'm doing about 4 miles of non-electric these days. And yeah, I generally don't manage to go at all within 2 meters of anybody else. Oddly, the Waitrose over there has a queue outside of it of people standing over 2 meters apart from each other. It's very sensible. More sensible is going to the Tesco instead, which is completely empty because nobody knows about it. So that's what I've been doing. So the point is, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are now my shopping days. This is feeling lovely, actually. I think I might be doing all right. Leave that in there. Whack that in there. Leave the sun on it, why not? Somewhat, kind of. Call that the sun. Right. I'd say this should be ready to stop boiling. I mean, it has stopped boiling, so clearly it's burning now. Oh, that smells lentily. Oh yeah, that is sticking. It's getting some flavour going on. The instructions that said 1 litre for 300 millilitres might not have been all that wrong. Turns out recipes exist for a reason. Lentils be thirsty. Now I am going to want these to somewhat dry out, but oh, that has got some kick to it. Those chilies are doing well today. I'm liking it. Give that a bit to see what it's going to do with itself. Right. I have to make a bechamel. How the fuck do I make a bechamel? So apparently I need 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of butter, and 550 millilitres of milk. Apparently I should also be studying a garlic with cloves. I'm not doing that, but what I am doing is making tragic bechamel. So let's do that. Take the oil away from the heat. Okay, what are we up to here? That'll do. Right, so what do I want? I want is a small pan. Okay, first things first, I'm going to drain this mozzarella because I want it to be dry by the time I'm using it, which is not yet, but it will be at some point. Because what I discovered from using mozzarella before was that apparently mozzarella likes to keep leaking after it's been drained. So let it do that. Nice. Okay, so that's at 500. I need 50 grams of this stuff. Now it does have those blocks on there, so it should be easy enough to work out. About half of this will be 50 grams. Now, for people that haven't been paying attention since the beginning, this is not butter, this is baking block. Nobody ever wanted this to be used for bechamel. That's close enough.
that. Now 50 grams of flour. Am I looking at the right thing? Yeah. Well, that is not a lot in there. That's going to be good for stirring down sauces and not much else. That's stirring. Oh, yeah, that is sticking hard at the bottom. Melt down, you bastard. Okay, no, I am going to put more water in that. Not a lot, because I don't have a lot left in the kettle. And I'm lazy. Of course, there is a worry that if the lentils are being very hydrophilic, not sure if that's the word for it, but whatever, then actually that will stop the lasagna absorbing liquid, which would be a problem. As ever, this is all a learning experience. I'll measure out 550 millilitres of this. I've only got 500 on here, so I'm going to have to guess at the last 50, or I won't be able to open it at all. Also good. Now, I could have gotten soy milk, but I think what was available was too expensive, and this stuff was, for whatever reason, pretty cheap. So that's what I've gone with. Bloody hell. Come on. Lift and peel my arse. Oh. There we go. Right, I wish I hadn't ruined that muesli. I mean, I already wished I hadn't ruined that muesli, but, you know, had I known that I was going to have milk, oh, imagine the bowl of muesli I could have had. It would have been milky. Melt faster, you idiot. So apparently I should have melted the butter first. Nobody could have known this. This now feels like too much. This might be why I have to leave it for an hour. That's now just shortbread. So apparently I need to pour this in slowly for some reason, just to keep it smooth or something. So let's try this. I mean, it's not helping at all. This might be the wrong utensil for this job. But importantly, it is the utensil that I'm using. So screw it. I'm getting milk everywhere. The point is, you don't want me in your house trying to cook. At some point, this is meant to make something smooth. It's failing to do that. Once again, that may be because I'm using a baking block instead of butter. You may never know. And presumably this is the same principle by which you make a little bit of hot chocolate first and then pour the rest of the milk or water in, and that will somehow give you better hot chocolate. I mean, it's the way I always make hot chocolate. I'm not sure it's necessary, but I've been told to do it, and therefore that's what I do. I mean, I have clearly just made soup over here. And here I've made cereal. Screw it, I'm doing this with a fork. That's not where the forks are. Okay, so got rudely interrupted by work being like, oh, it's our standard scheduled every Friday afternoon call that you should have known was coming, and you definitely did know was coming, and you're an idiot. Before that happened, we were making stuff. So I've taken the bechamel off the boil. It's still very lumpy, but screw it. I'm sure it'll be fine. This is less soupy than it was. Let's see how it's doing. That's hot. Still pretty warm, still pretty tasty. I'm going to put a bit more salt in. See how this goes. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave that in there. There's a lot sticking to the bottom here. Really likes to build a skin. Fine. Okay, what I also need to do here is start preheating the oven. So I think that's what it'll be. Once the oven's preheated, that's when I'm good to go. So let's see, 180 degrees. That's got to be good enough, right? I mean, there's still something bubbling in there. It's still pretty dry. This also definitely leaving a trail. Let's go, let's see what happens. Let's give this a go. Making a mess everywhere. Right, first thing I need to do, I'll leave that on there because I need to wash the dish because I'm using the bigger dish. Yes. I have an even bigger dish. I do have an even bigger dish. Found the massive dish. This definitely needs a wash. Do this over here where it's a bit warmer. I think it is growing, but not as much as I'd like it to. Let's try laying this lot out and see what happens. Let's move the camera over so you can see how much I haven't been cleaning down as I go. That should be fun. Or there we go. Okay. So, in theory, what I'm doing here is grab this, spread a layer. Layer. This is much bigger than last time, possibly too big. But last time it was too small, so what are you going to do? Now treating it like making a cake and just doing a specific cake, a torta, which I learnt to make, which is the cake that I was making a couple of months ago. Right, that is a layer. Now, that is a globby. It's possible I should have put some cheese in at the end or something, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Where's my cheese gone? Oh, it's right under here. Convenient. So I'm thinking this is going to end up being 3 layers. Now this mozzarella is about twice the size of the previous mozzarella. So let's do this. Back in on our lasagna. Oh yeah, this is a very different size. Oh, can I do it that way? Oh, I can do it that way. Let's do it that way instead. Oh, that's going weird. It's fine. Make it work. Make it happen. Damn you, dry lasagna. Why you gotta be like that? Oh, scant layers. Like, you won't be able to, because of the colour, see the lasagna sheets poking through, but they are. You may have noticed I switched to a whisk at one point because I was having such a time trying to break up all the dough balls in the bechamel.
So that happened. So if I'm following the recipe, then we do 3 layers and then bechamel on top, and hope that works. So this should be my final layer, which presumably is going to be a thick boy. Cool. Yeah, you can see that crispy bit on there. Oh. Oh, good. Turns out this is hot. Oh, I'm gonna eat the burnt bits because they're good for me. Actually, am I? Yep. It's really hot for some reason. Okay, we'll say that's enough. I've eaten enough of the burnt bits. Yeah. Looks like it wasn't that thick a boy after all. It was the appropriate thickness of boy. I mean, I'm happy with it as just a lentil soup. That seems to have worked. And I've still got plenty of lasagna sheets in there, so more lasagnas are still on the cards. Oh, our oven has preheated, just in time. If anyone's got a better way of working out the ends here, do let me know, because this feels silly. And once again, just going to eat this. There's still some there. I'm an idiot. So our last layer apparently should be bechamel and cheese. This time we know we want to get a proper covering, because last time round we just burnt the hell out of that top layer of pasta. Well, yes, this is a non-stick pan. Why'd you ask? Okay, it's possible there's not enough there. I'm going to do it anyway. See how it goes. It has bechamel under it as well, so maybe it'll still hydrate. Maybe it won't be the worst thing ever. Hope springs eternal. Just do it with my hands. Nope. Hands are a bad way to do it. Don't do it with your hands. I mean, I'm still doing it with my hands, despite it clearly being a bad way to do it. As ever, I have a pastry brush. I could be using a pastry brush. It would be sensible to use a pastry brush. But, oh, it's over 6 feet away. This is now a distance we all understand. Probably should have whacked a clove of garlic in the bechamel. Oh, it's in the milk. There we go. That's what I didn't do. Did I need more cheese? Yes. Yes, I did. But here we are. with the amount of cheese that I actually have, which is different. 30 minutes. Oh, and my battery's low. Okay. So it needs to go up to 54 past the hour. Now I've got all this lasagna to eat. We're very unpleasant. This is not doubled in size, but I'm going to punch it down anyway. So it's definitely done something. I can smell the yeast. Oh, there's still some dry yeast in there. Oh, hello. Hello, goo. Oh, that means it's doing something. And it is gooey. Well, no, it's not gooey. It's fine. Yeah, that yeast could incorporate more. Let's see. If we can give it a little more to work with. There's still dry yeast in there. I am definitely going to end up eating yeast. That's fine. Nobody minds. Yeast is good for you. That's how you make Marmite. Marmite's good for you. That's how you make beer. And beer's liquid bread. And thus good for you. You may think this is quite circular reasoning, but only because it is. It does have a weird banana-y scent to it, which is to be expected. Not with all the banana. Yeah, see, that's not sealed up at the bottom. I want that to seal up more. I don't know how to make that seal up more, but apparently that's the way to do it. So leave this as it was in what is presumably a reasonably warm area over here, because, you know, that. Right, gonna pause there. Definitely not gonna eat everything out of there, and I'm gonna do some cleaning and stuff, and then I'll see you when I'm ready to start serving some lasagna. Okay, it's time to take the lasagna out. This has grown. I would like it to grow more. So, 2 birds, 1 stone. Now this looks very dry. Once again, top layer, not looking amazing, but that's pretty soft in the middle. So hopefully that's all right. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put this somewhere precarious. Because I think, okay, that seems like a bad plan. However, we have another way around it. We have 2 other ways around it. And the one we're going for, yoink. So hopefully, leaving that there will give it the warmth escaping from here without actually cooking it. We'll get it up to that solar hands type warmth. So we can leave that for a little bit. Now this obviously, we discovered last time that it's best to leave it for a bit, you know? But equally, okay, let's work out. So I've eaten a load of lentils and some chunks of dough and that. I'm probably going to eat some banana bread later. But either way, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are the days that I need food for, because Tuesday I'm going to go shopping again. So, well, I can definitely get 4 days out of this. Okay, let's do this then. No, I'm going to leave it leave it to rest for a little bit. Leave that to rest for a little bit. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that for another half an hour. This is also going to be for another hour, but then that's got another, presumably 20 minutes, half an hour, possibly 40 minutes to bake. Either way, this is going to get itself a fair bit of time to cool down. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been half an hour. So, this has got some good grow on it, actually. Nice. What I'm going to do, that needs to go to 210. So, let's do that. It's going to 210 now, it's going to go down to 180 once it's preheated. So that's apparently how it works. Right, now this needs to, let's put it on here. On here it works fine. Do I have some parchment paper? Hey, I do. Well, baking paper, which is surely the right thing for baking. Logic. I did say to flour it, but also that's not what I'm going to do. So, instead. So, oh, hello. That's a weird thing. Okay. Oh, I should have put some oil down there, or some flour or something. Okay. Grab that, put it in there. That's going to get fun inside. Okay, so it's definitely growing. Oh, that feels warm. Has this been cooking? Is that what's been happening? Oh, it's had some air is what it's definitely had. Form this into a nice sort of oval situation. Always want a situation going on. Tight in. It's squeaking as the air comes out. Okay, I'm gonna take a little while to rest here. Actually, let's switch it up and flatten it down. I realise we've got the parchment there, but maybe it's not enough. We don't know. It was getting a bit gooey there, so. Right. Bring that in, bring that in. Push it down. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Push it down. And leave it there to rise for a bit. In the meantime, I have done some cleaning, but there's only so much space to work with. Right, let's see how terrible this is. I should have cleaned that so I could use it for cutting, but never mind. We use a spatula like a normal person. Also a plate like a normal person. It's still warm, it's only been half an hour. But hopefully it's set a little bit, it's going to be a bit more useful. So the plan here is to cut off the sides and then have 4 individual portions in the middle. Let's see if that works. Oh, hello. Now, potentially, it occurs to me, I have the ingredients to make garlic bread, so tomorrow I may be able to make some garlic bread. Now, the real question is one of those ingredients going to be the banana bread that I'm making here? Or will it in fact be something very different? Namely, the toasty bread that I've got in the freezer. We'll find out, potentially, tomorrow. As ever, I think letting it set was a good plan. So, let your lasagna set. I'm not sure it's actually going to have been
that helpful. But let's find out. I mean, the edge was always going to be a difficult piece to get out. Edge piece, always the hardest bit to get out. Obviously, always the most worthwhile. Everyone loves an edge piece. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it does, but also not that terrible. You know, more terrible things have happened. I'll leave it at that. I think that should be enough for me to eat. So, ooh. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. I mean, once again, the lentil soup, big fan of. Never gonna have a problem with that. Leave that out because that needs to cool down before it can go in the fridge. And knife and fork job it is. Obviously, the problem with starting with the end piece is that that's going to have, okay, the least contiguous lasagna sheets, potentially the most total because it's got all the weird crumbly bits on the side. But let's see what, and yeah, it's going to have the least bechamel. It's going to have at least everything really. Now let's see how it tastes. Oh, this actually seems like a fair bit. So. Yeah. Those peppers are doing a number on it. It's more like a shepherd's pie or something because the lentils end up so mushy. But I'm here for it. There's a touch of cheesiness in there. Well, there we go. Worse things could have happened. That's how I'm doing all right. And that is still hot. Once again, the lentils retain their heat. Oh, imagine if I actually had herbs and spices to cook with. The things I could do. I think this is a fundamental problem with the herbs and spices as well. Is it's not just that initial investment. Because like, actually pound for pound, like the chilies are costing me more than, you know, a pot of thyme would be costing me or whatever. But you don't just want a pot of thyme. You need a variety of them. You need a whole spice rack so you can get lots of different flavours happening. Otherwise you just make everything taste like Italian herbs, you know. And I think that's the real problem with spices for me, is the just knowing where to start, what am I supposed to use where and all that kind of thing. Right? I kind of don't bother. And I'm kind of still happy with it. So, go with that. Now think about it. If I spent £1.30 or whatever it was on 500 grams of lentils, and I can get bacon for £2 a kilo, then does that mean that the lentils are more expensive? Now, one, obviously I went for the more expensive variety of lentil, so I could have got the cost down there, but more importantly, when you cook lentils, they grow. When you cook meat, it shrinks. So you get more out of the lentil than you would do, substantially more out of the lentil than you would do out of the meat. So there you go. And obviously you can buy in bulk, so if you do have the wherewithal to buy £10 worth of lentils, you're going to have 5-star lentils.
and they're going to last because they're dry. That's the other thing. Get them dry. Right. So I was happy with that. Now, just wait for that oven to preheat. Let's make some bread happen. And it does look like it might be already inflating, growing if you will. So oven's now preheated, and I've just realised that I neglected to cover the dough while it was waiting to go in, because you know I'm good at life like that. I'm not sure how important the covering of the dough is, but everyone always wants it covered, so probably somewhat. But that's not what we're doing, because it's too late for that. So, this looks bigger than it was before, so I'm going to give it one of these. I have cleaned the knife now. Okay, that's not working. I'm gonna do it anyway. Started, so I'll finish. Everyone likes a nice scored loaf. I'm not sure anyone's ever done it for banana bread, but you know, we have that option. And then, oh, and it also said put a bit of flour on top. We can do that. We can be all decorative and shiz. Not sure why I'd want to do that, but it's what we're doing. 180. Boom. And now we wait 20 minutes. So I thought I was recording something, but it turns out I wasn't. So, right, 20 minutes later, it's come out looking like this. I flip it. I'd say that's reasonably hollow. And yeah, got a nice bit of crunch to it. It's still hot. I was going to say let's leave it a bit, but actually it's cooled down a bit. So let's give this a go. Who would have thought that cooling racks stacked on top of each other were not the best surface to do something on? I should have left this longer. That is still gooey on the inside. Screw it. Okay. Well, I've ruined that. Yeah, this is still wet. This needed longer. Oh, but that does smell banana-y. Mate, how did that happen? I mean... That's a... that's a whole thing. So it feels kind of watery, which is weird. I mean, it's not that weird. Yeah, it needs the sugar to round it out. It's not the worst thing in the world. There we go. Imagine what I could do with actual bread flour.
It's just interesting bread. I'm kind of enjoying it now. But it's still a bit too damp, so I don't know if it needed a little bit longer, because keep in mind as well, the sugar and the banana and that, maybe that's what made it brown, possibly a little too soon. But then that's going to be the problem, isn't it? Let's pick that up, what just dropped. So yeah, if you are making that, maybe use 2 or 3 bananas, get a bit more banana-y flavour in there, maybe put some sugar in, round out the flavour. But, kind of works. I'm enjoying the aftertaste, like that initial taste, that was weird, but the aftertaste works. I'm kind of here for it. Oh my god. Either this is it, or there'll be an addendum tomorrow when I eat some more lasagna, if there's something more to say. Or if I make some garlic bread. Maybe not out of that, maybe out of that. Do what I want. See you next time. That might be right now.